Download Tarang online radio app from Google Play Store.
May I please request Honorable Ministers Shri Suresh Prabhu and Shri Anand Geete to kindly release the Auto Expo Fair catalogue.
पर्यावरण फ्रेंडली हमें अपने उत्पादनों का निर्माण करना है, चाहे व्हीकल्स हो, वाहन हो, तो सबसे पहले जिस इंडस्ट्री द्वारा इस वाहन को निर्माण किया जाता है उस इंडस्ट्री को सुरक्षित रखना, बचाए रखना, ये टॉप प्रायोरिटी हमारी है, ये प्राथमिकता हमारी है। तो जो भी हमें करना है वो इंडस्ट्री को साथ में लेकर करना है। आने वाले समय की मांग को हमें पूरा करना है और आने वाला समय चाहे इलेक्ट्रिक मोबिलिटी का हो, आने वाला समय शायद हाइड्रोजन कार का हो, आने वाला समय जो पर्यावरण फ्रेंडली, पर्यावरण का संतुलन रखने वाले, जीरो एमिशन करने वाले व्हीकल का हो। तो इस दिशा में हमें धीरे धीरे आगे बढ़ना है और इस दिशा में बढ़ते हुए इंडस्ट्री को हमें बरकरार रखना है, इंडस्ट्री को हमें पूरा सहयोग करना है और इंडस्ट्री को साथ में लेकर इन सारे सपनों को साकार करने का प्रयास करना है। और इस दिशा में मेरा मंत्रालय, भारी उद्योग मंत्रालय, सही दिशा में इस उद्योग जगत को सहयोग करने का प्रयास कर रहा है।
Making at least 20% of India's GDP must come from manufacturing. And as my good friend and colleague Mr. Geeta just mentioned, that automobiles is one of the major manufacturers in India. And therefore, we would like to work with you to find out how we can increase overall manufacturing in India, and in that manufacturing, the contribution of automobile sector, which includes auto components as well. But as I said, I must thank you for being the first pioneer into this concept of becoming part of a real global value chain. To make this happen, as I said, we want to ensure that we will become competitive globally. We need proper infrastructure for this. And I was talking to both ECMA as well as SIAM just now, that on 24th of February, we organized with CII a partnership summit in Andhra Pradesh. I will talk to the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh and will make sure that we create a global scale infrastructure for an auto cluster in Andhra Pradesh, because Vizag is on the east coast, therefore we can have a port-based infrastructure for automobile industry, which will have all components of automobiles can be created there. And I told Mr. Firodia that prepare a blueprint which we can discuss, and the state government and central government together will work together to create the infrastructure along with the industry. So that this industry, which will be the users of the infrastructure, also will have a role to play, have a say in the matter of creating what kind of infrastructure we should create. Same thing, we'll do it on a west coast.
I now have lived 2.5 years as German ambassador to India in this country. And I have two suggestions. The first one, wouldn't it make a lot of sense to make driving safer? I think road safety has to be enhanced. And Germany can be a partner here. Because the German industry has a lot of knowledge and a lot of solutions on road safety. And to think that these safety solutions in automobile industry are costly is wrong. They are quite affordable by now, and otherwise other countries like Brazil would not have introduced these solutions in their markets. And my final suggestion is, we have to confront pollution, obviously. And that means introduce Bharat 6 as early as possible. And give incentives to those manufacturers who are willing to introduce Bharat 6 technology before April 2020. The German car industry is ready and willing to support this step. Ladies and gentlemen, in a global market, we can only be successful if we work together on global challenges. Thank you very much, and I give the floor to Dr. Bräunig from WDR.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nair. The strong welcome support by the federal German government. Firstly, I want to create more intention on India's potential that leads to the strong and increasing German industry to be engaged with in India. Secondly, to make more attention on the fact that this year, for the first time, in the Indian passenger market will overtake the German market in terms of volume for the first time. Thirdly, that leads to one strong reason why we Germans demonstrate here our performance with our presence at Auto Expo 2018. And last but not least, the potential of mutual trade is not exhausted, and a new attempt, as Dr. Nair said, I would like strongly to confirm, is need to reach an FTA between the EU and India. Why are we here? India is on a path of growth. In 2017, the gross domestic product increased by close to 7%, and we expect further growth of 7.4%. In our VDA's forecast, we assume that in the current year, the Indian passenger car market will expand by 10% to a volume of almost 3.6 million units.
So the Prime Minister of India has talked about the electrification of motor vehicles. And where do you see the German participation coming from, and how committed Germany is?
I really appreciate the commitment of the Indian government to introduce electric mobility. This is the same decision the German government took, and we lean heavily on the German industry in order to provide the solutions for the early introduction of electric mobility. But we must be realist. It's not the day after tomorrow. It's not possible in a very short time frame. We must simply see that we live for some time longer with combustion engines. And that's the same for Germany and for India. And so we need to early introduction of Bharat 6. We need to honor those companies who provide solutions to deal with Bharat 6 with incentives. We must look into road safety, etc. We must not forget the transitional technology, and that's hybrid cars. We must not leave them out, because we can't sort of overjump transitional technologies and go tomorrow to electric mobility. So we must not forget, as a transitional technology, hybrid cars, and then of course have incentives in order to introduce electric mobility as soon as possible. Here, German car companies have the technology, they're providing these cars, and they are providing automotive parts in order to allow this. But here it's very important to see, increasing tariffs for import doesn't help to achieve an early introduction of electric mobility. If companies want to test the market, they need to be free to introduce electric cars in India, to test the market, to induce customers to get used to electric mobility, and then you facilitate the easing of the establishing of electric mobility in India as well.
Sorry, in April, Bharat 6 is going to be implemented in India, which is just around a couple of months from now. And where do you see the German companies in competition with French companies who are a little bit ahead, it is being said in the industry. They're a little bit ahead in the electric car market. So do you see a competition coming from French companies?
I would contest immediately the French companies are ahead of German technology at all. If you go for electric mobility in cars, and you can ask Dr. Bräunig on the details on this, the German technology is your choice.
Do you think that the
German automotive industry, if you look at those markets, for example in Europe, where the e-mobility is due to many public subsidies running up, the German automotive industry has more than 50% market share in e-mobility cars, like in Norway, like in Netherlands or Sweden. So you must look at the capacities of industry. Germany is producing in Germany 5.6 million cars, exports 77%, and is producing 10.8 million German cars outside Germany. So look at our strong commitment for India here, the Germans, as well the component companies and the big OEMs here in India as well. So we provide the solutions for the Indian industrial strategy and are here for closer cooperation with India.
So you mean to say that...
I recommend you to go to Noida. I was there yesterday. I looked at an e-bicycle, bike, a very fast motorbike. You can look at this. You can look at the e-cars of BMW and Mercedes and Bosch Motors, and you see the technology that is readily available to be introduced in India.
Do you see that there will be a dip in the combustible car and there will be a profit of your premium car of Audi and BMW will see a dip in their sales once the electric car comes into in a big way in India?
I do see worldwide that there is a switch in automotive car models, but there is in no one market in the world only one solution. So you will see a variety of powertrains, but the switch to more electrification is the clear line. And even when our car makers say in 2025 we will provide, let's say, 25% of our car fleet electrified, then of course there is still a huge amount of cars provided with combustion engines, and it's the combination of both to provide to every single market the right offer.
As the Honorable Ambassador said that it is $500 billion component industry which is coming to India as terms of export to India. But do you see there is a change when the electric component for the car and the electric car comes, and how will that, have you done your calculation, how in next 5 years, what will be the rise in business in terms of electric cars alone?
It will be a great transformation process for the entire industrial world, not only for the Germans, but for your Indian component supplier companies as well. It will move many, many business cases, and all the hybrid cars, which means you have a combustion engine and an electric powertrain in one car, will help to transform this industrial challenge.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
हम हैं तरंग ऑनलाइन रेडियो वर्ल्ड। Download Tarang online radio app from Google Play Store.